They are deep, they are talented. So is Springfield High. Sammy, this could be an offensive fireworks, maybe. A lot of fireworks tonight, I think.
Thanks, guys. It definitely could be, but we'll come to you guys just a moment to break down our home team. But first, let's meet them. The Springfield High Senators, they're at the end of a 5-week gauntlet in their schedule, hoping to make a statement here in the final week of the regular season and on their senior night.
Well, you know, we've definitely gotten a lot better since the first week. We've been building a lot of chemistry and just putting everything together, and I feel like we're doing great for where we are.
Well, I think, you know, naturally the last half of our schedule is the gauntlet, and so we're just playing against good teams week in, week out right now. Hey, it's going to be a slobber knocker. You've got your work cut out for you, and if you don't come ready to play, they're gonna take advantage of your exploits.
I feel like we just had to play with energy, because probably the difference between those games were the energy levels. We had so much energy against Jacksonville and Q&D, and we just have to bring that energy back. Getting
the ball back to our offense is definitely a point of emphasis, and if we want to stop Chatham, that's definitely got to be a point of emphasis, because their offense is something to be reckoned with for sure.
Oh, us seniors were ready. You know, we've done this for 4 years. Not a lot of us are going to go to the second level, so we're all coming together, looking to play our hardest. Get a big win.
Man, like, you know, this is my 4th year, so these are the guys that have been here with me since day one. The relationships that we built are pretty strong. You know, we say family over everything, and it's awesome to see. They're a great group of kids. I love them to death, like they're my own kids, and you know, would love nothing more to see them come out on senior night and have an awesome performance.
There we have it, the Senators. It's their senior night, and they would love to get to 6 wins, as Paul said earlier, get momentum back on their side after 2 down weeks. But they have the unbeaten Titans. Paul, Adam, what does Springfield High have to do to get a win here tonight?
I think Springfield High needs to stay in this game, needs to stay close early. I don't think they can get behind by a lot. Glenwood's defense, they have 4 shutouts out of their 8 wins, so they're going to be tough. You got to score against them when you can.
Yeah, and I think Armand Lewis has got to be the key for the Springfield Senators. Their running back, you can't be one-dimensional against such a good team like the Chatham Glenwood Titans. If they can get the ball running on the ground, move it through the air with Scheffler, we know they can do that very well. But if they can keep their run game going early, I think they can stay in this ball game and make it tight.
Scheffler and Cale Thurman, what a dynamic duel. The connection's been here, it feels like forever.
It feels like 10 years. We've been doing this 10 years. It feels like they've been here. Mekhi Newman, also very good on defense too, but another great receiving option for Brody Scheffler.
Yeah, it may come down to defense tonight. Glenwood probably has the edge, but this really shapes up to be a good one.
All right, guys, another quick break for you two. Let's meet the away team now. It's Glenwood. The Titans, they are a force to be reckoned with this year. 8-0, explosive offense, great defense, and they have plenty of confidence after overcoming a 24-7 fourth quarter deficit against SHG to keep them unbeaten.
We're a veteran crew that's, played consistently throughout the year. Had a couple comeback victories, but consistently week by week our kids have shown up. Pretty proud of the way they played.
I think over the course of the year we've gotten better even in those areas. And, the leadership, that's been a huge part, and just stacking wins, growing as a team. They came out and they showed us up. They had a great game plan on. Obviously 24-7, we knew something had to change, and, like I said about leadership, we stepped up and we got guys to make plays and, progressively just got close to winning, and it fell right in our hands.
Yeah, I hope that resilience shows up later too. We're getting ready. We got week 9, then we're going to the playoffs, and you're going to need that. You're going to need to be able to make plays at big times and big games, and that's all we got left is big games.
I think it's violence. Coming out and wanting it more than the players across from us, and showing that in the first place, setting the tone for the game, and kind of having that mentality about us.
They got a really good football team. I don't know. I don't have the numbers with me. They're probably the team that has the second most seniors in our conference. They're a very experienced group. Got experience, of course, at the quarterback, and probably the best Springfield offense I've seen in a long time. Now, just maintain the consistency, be able to come out week by week, week after week, in the length of the season, to be able to execute and continue to look to grow. And I've seen that out of that. We got a veteran group, and they seem to want to grow as the weeks go on.
There's also, we got one more game to be, the 4th team in this school's history to go undefeated. So that's motivation for us.
Yep. Now, guys, we met the Titans. Glenwood, you could safely argue, is the best team we have here in Central Illinois. They've been tested. They've been pushed to the brink last week. But this team, after that fourth quarter display last week, it's really hard to imagine them losing here tonight.
Yeah, it really is hard to imagine Glenwood getting beat tonight. I mean, obviously it could happen, but down 24-7 with, I think, 9.5 minutes in that fourth quarter last week against SHG in an epic comeback. Unbelievable.
Well, and I go back a few weeks ago, they came back against Rochester. They were down 14 points late in that game, and Rochester had a chance to win and didn't go out. Colton Knadler has been really kind of the MVP of the area. If you needed, told me I had to pick one guy, it would be Colton Knadler. He's doing it with his arms. He's doing it a lot with his legs here recently. I think they've really leaned into that being a vital part of their offense, and he's done a great job responding.
Yeah, he has. Glenwood's all-time leading passer, passed Luke Lanin. Luke's younger brother, Blake, is a wide receiver. You got Grady Mueller, running back, who can pound the ball. Glenwood is just deep at every position.
Yeah, and very sound. And a lot of these guys have played a lot of varsity action now, so they're used to big games like this. That, I think, has helped them this year.
All right, Sammy, back to you. Should be a dandy tonight.
Thank you, Paul and Adam. Coach Hebb, actually a lot of praise for that offensive line of Glenwood, but that does it for our Game of the Week preview for you guys. We'll check back in with you guys in a moment to talk about a few other contests, but first, our Game of the Week players to watch. It's a pair of senior quarterbacks, just like last week, vital to the matchup. Senators, it's Brody Scheffler slinging at both of our QBs, multi-sport athletes between football and baseball. Scheffler, a 1.22 ERA last spring and 24 passing touchdowns this fall. He's going to need to be big tonight. And on the other end, it's Colton Knadler, another senior QB, multi-sport stud here in Central Illinois. As Paul mentioned, Titans' all-time passing leader, now leading one of the most lethal offenses in the state. The Titans quiet for 3 quarters against SHG, 28 points in the fourth quarter. They can score a lot and can score in a hurry, and some of that explosiveness is because of that man, Colton Knadler, also a near 400 hitter last spring as well. And coming up after the break, we will bring back Paul and Adam and talk to Carson Gordy as we preview a few other games here in Central Illinois, including everyone's favorite Week 9 showdown. It's Rochester and SHG.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show.
And welcome into the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show. Game of the week here in Week 9. Springfield High hosting unbeaten Glenwood. A great game, but we've already broken that one down before the break. Now it's time to move on to a few other exciting contests here in Central Illinois. And to do that, we bring back Paul and Adam back one final time here in 2025 on the preview show. 2 last games here discussed with me before their final game of the week broadcast here this season. It's crunch time, the last week before playoffs, really to build momentum for it as well. But in this game that I want to talk about first, neither team really need a win. It's a want-to win. It's about a statement win as SHG hosts Rochester, the second and third best teams in the Central State 8. You tell me which one's second and which one's third. So who takes this top-tier battle here in the final week, as some still call it the Leonard Bowl?
Yeah, SSG Rochester, always a great game. I think tonight will be no exception. I think it's going to be an evenly played game, a close game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good and bad of it is, I think this is probably the first of maybe a doubleheader that we're going to see between these two teams, just a few weeks apart, because I have a feeling they're going to end up playing each other in the 4A playoffs. But my stat bomb of the day in this game, Rochester never had a 3-game winning streak in this series. They have won the last 2, could be number 3 tonight. SHG's only done it once.
It's always a great game, a lot of offense, some great teams, and SHG played a great game last week, just came up a little bit short against Glenwood.
Yeah, if Rochester gets off to a slow start again this week, that could be their undoing against the SHG Cyclones.
Should be a good one, always is. SHG Rochester. Sammy?
Yeah, guys, now on the other hand, boy does Maroa Forsyth need some momentum. A big emphatic win, potentially over New Berlin, could certainly get them back on track. Unfortunately for them, though, the Pretzel squad, they're sitting at 4 wins. They need to get a win this week. The question is, can the Pretzels get a win against Maroa Forsyth?
I tell you what, it's going to be tough for New Berlin. You never know. All things, I think they have to play a perfect game to try to pull up the upset tonight.
If you got any tricks up your sleeve, you got to empty them tonight. Do I think they have a puncher's chance to pull off an upset? Absolutely. Brady Cruz and the Pretzels are a good football team. But Coach Joseph and those Trojans are coming off back-to-back losses. Hasn't happened in 10 years. I don't know if he's ever lost 3 in a row. So he's got his back up against the wall. I think they'll respond in a big way tonight.
Yeah, Pretzel's got to win, obviously, to get that 5th win and get in the playoffs. David versus Goliath, whatever you want to say. I mean, it could happen. It
could happen. You know, they pulled off the upset earlier this year in beating Olympia. Can they do it? Absolutely. Will they? Well, that's a whole other story.
We'll see. But that's why they play the game, Sammy. You never know what'll happen. So, back to you.
Now, it helps that it is a home game for them. But thank you, Paul. Thank you, Adam. That puts a wrap on your Showdown preview performances and your appearances this season. Thank you both. But now we turn to the eastern side of the state. Let's check in with our Carson Gordy. Carson, make or break time here in Central Illinois. What matchups are we keeping our eye on over by Champaign?
Hey, Sammy, we got some good action over in the Champaign area and several teams needing a win tonight or else their season's over. And for some of these teams on the bubble, it's a little bit surprising. Let's start off with the St. Joseph Ogden Spartans. They are shockingly sitting at 4-4, and they need a win tonight over Pontiac. Last year, the Spartans, they started 11-0, and this year they brought back Cody McKinney, their quarterback. They brought back the star offensive lineman Cameron Wagner, but they've lost a lot of close games this year to good teams. But fun fact, St. Joe, they've only missed the playoffs one time since 1991. In the next game, the PBL Panthers need to upset Monticello on the road or else their 12-year playoff streak is over. The Panthers, they are a senior-heavy roster, and they're trying to focus, though, on this game and not looking at the big picture.
Obviously, we do. We try not to because it's hard to put a lot of pressure on yourself. Feel like we could possibly be the team to snap that streak, but we don't like that pressure. We don't like to think about that. Like I said, we just go out and play football.
And one of my English teachers always tell me, pressure makes diamonds. Last week, their playoff hopes were also on the line, and they needed a win. And they came out and they beat Rantoul 48-0 for their best performance of the season.
Obviously, we've been playing for the playoffs, like we said, the last 2 weeks, ever since we were 3-4. So we called last week a playoff game. Our kids, this is probably the most focused practice we've had since early in the year before we played BCC. And so I know our kids are ready.
But the Sages, they're a good football team. Despite losing 18 seniors from last year's 12-win squad, they're 6-2 this year. They're led by their dual-threat quarterback, Nolan Benekemper. So far, he's run for 9 touchdowns and added 5 in the air. Bloomington at Champaign Centennial, Chargers off to a 5-3 start and back in the playoffs after missing it last year. However, you want to win every game and improve your seeding for playoff time. The Chargers' bounce-back year, it's been led by their defense, which was fantastic. But they did give up 56 points last week to Normal West. Finally, we got 5-3 Muhammad Seymour taking on Rich Woods. For the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic, the Bulldogs will not be champions of the Apollo Conference, but it's still a pretty good year. Bulldog offense lately, it's been barking, scoring over 45 points per game over the last 3. I'm Carson Gordy. Thank you for watching. Always a little bit bittersweet when the regular season's over, but playoff time and championship chases, that's always a pretty good solution. Take care, and we'll have all the highlights up tonight on ABC. Back to you, Sammy.
Thanks, Carson. And don't forget, as he mentioned, we'll have all the highlights from tonight's games coming up on our CEFQ Friday Night Showdown recap show. And the recap show, it kicks off at 10:15 over on News Channel 20. I'll be breaking down all the action here from the gridiron with a little help from Mr. Gordy. Again, that's tonight at 10:15. And after the break, we'll check in with the rest of our Friday Night Showdown team, including a weather update from our Matthew Bednar. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show.
And welcome back into the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show. We're going to be going back out over to Memorial Stadium here in Springfield to check back in with the rest of our Friday Night Showdown team. And we start with our weather. It's going to be Matt Bednar relieving the duty of Darren Leeds today. Now, Matt, we've gone 7 for 7 staying dry in the majority of the area for our Friday Night Showdown. Is this going to be 8 for 8, 9 relatively dry Friday nights in the season?
Yeah, Sammy, I would say it's going to be 8 for 8, but this one is definitely going to be the coldest one. We now have temperatures down in the low 50s. I think we're right around 52 degrees. There's not much of a breeze, which is good because we don't want wind chills to be a factor, but if you still haven't head out to the games yet, bring a blanket, make sure you're bundled up, even some gloves, because temperatures are going to continue to fall down. By the time we're going into around halftime, we'll be in the upper 40s, and wouldn't be surprised by the time we're in the end of the game, even in those mid 40s. So it will be a cold night. We want more cloud coverage in the area to keep the temperatures warmer for longer. Now it will be just like what we should be this all year long during the fall conditions, fall-like weather for football. Reporting live from Springfield, I'm meteorologist Matt Bednar. Back to you, Sammy.
And our producer Rob was a little confused on this concept, but the other football, boys soccer regional finals, they kick off today. Quickly wanted to update on a few teams playing today, a few finals that are going on tomorrow. First, 2 games today with local squads. It's Carlinville versus Litchfield, and it's going to be Mount Zion taking on Urbana. Both of those matches already underway. And tomorrow, a few good games as well. Glenwood and Springfield High, they battle in Jerseyville, Muhammad Seymour and Danville at Centennial. Plains and Athens at Monticello, Meridian and Williamsville at Meridian, Urbana University and SJO. And finally, Rochester against Salem. Tons of local teams in regional final action, but now we head back over to our game of the week, back over to Memorial Stadium, where our sideline reporter Spencer Davis is live and has something a little fun outside of those white lines. So Spencer, take it away.
Thanks, Sammy. I'm standing by with Jane Harris, a photographer, a football photographer here at Springfield High School. Jane, how did you kind of get into photography?
I got into photography about 40 years ago. I used to do a lot of horse shows and horse show photography. And then I got into historical reenactments and did a lot of photography and video with that.
Okay, so how did you go from horse racing to historical reenactments to high school football?
Well, high school football is kind of a short story. I date one of the coaches.
Okay. For Springfield High, I assume.
Yes.
Okay. All right, and so talk to me a little bit about this season. How has it gone so far from your standpoint here on the sidelines?
Well, that's an interesting question because I really don't know too much about football, and they're always amazed that I can take great pictures and still not know a lot about the sport.
What's your favorite kind of picture to take?
Anything action related. So,
okay.
Football's always got a lot of action to take pictures of.
Okay, well, Jane, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for what you do on the sidelines. I know all the kids and parents especially appreciate what you do.
Springfield Senators football on Facebook.
Okay, well, we'll have to check it out. But Jane, thank you so much for your time. And Sammy, we'll send it back over to you in the studio.
Thanks, Spencer. I think I've met Jane at a few Springfield High games. So awesome. Now, when we come back, we'll wrap up our Green Hyundai preview show before sending things back out to Paul, Adam, and Spencer for our Friday Night Showdown game of the week, the last one.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show.
Chatham versus Springfield.
And we start here with a look over at Memorial Stadium. One last little peek here at the field ahead of game time. National anthem already wrapped up. Teams are ready to take the field, and we are ready to get this one underway. It's sure to be a great final game. Glenwood 8-0, unbeaten, an opportunity for their fourth time ever to go unbeaten in the regular season. Meanwhile, Springfield High, 5 wins. They should be in the playoffs, but a 6th win would be vital for them in improving that playoff standing. So really, really big game coming up here on the CW 7 o'clock. So make sure to stay right here, watch that one, and tune in. But that's going to be our time here for the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show. We are just about done for the year. A few more minutes and a post-game show, and the regular season coverage is done, and it's been an incredible year on Friday Night Showdown. So let's take a look at our schedule from the season. Quite a few great games. Pleasant Plains winning week 1, our new Coaches Bowl. Mount Zion, they fell to Rochester in my favorite game of the season. That was a great one, 28-24. And then SHG, a big win over Quincy Notre Dame. That one a statement for the Cyclones. Jacksonville, they got a win. Porta got a win. St. Teresa, a high-scoring affair for them. They were winners. And, of course, Williamsville in that Sangamo Conference decider victorious last week, leading us to our final game. Guys, it's Glenwood and Springfield High. A really fitting conclusion to the season. So now it's time to look at our final staff predictions. Final ones of the seasons. I sucked a little less last week, but we are back in the win column along with everyone else except for Carson. But one final set of regular season predictions. All 3 of Carson, Spencer, and myself, we are back in Glenwood. Hopefully for the Senators, if you're rooting for them, a little bit of a jinx here from the broadcasting crew. Spencer, he had the largest margin of victory at 41. I went with just 21. Senators senior night, expect some fight, but those Titans are just too good. Too much power on the offensive end and on the defensive side. As for our broadcast tandem, it's Paul Wapple, unbeaten still this year. He took Glenwood in a 21-point contest, just like I did. Makes me feel a little bit better when you agree with Paul. As for Adam, he's up to 6-1. His only wrong pick this season was when he disagreed with Paul. Unlucky for him, but he has Glenwood 48-18. So it's going to be an exciting contest. If you're a Senators fan, again, you're hoping that all 5 of us are extraordinarily wrong, and you guys will be at 6-win. As for everyone else rooting for the Titans, I think you would like those predictions. All 5 of us backing Glenwood in the contest. It's sure to be a good one coming up. Sure to be plenty of offense. But thank you guys all for so much for watching this season. Enjoy this last game one more time with Paul Wapple, Adam Anderson, and Spencer Davis. I'm Sammy St. Jean. Thank you guys so much for tuning in all season. And one last time, I'll send it back over to our game of the week with our broadcasting tandem.